and welcome to Ask Moms podcast. We are not professionals, but we want to share our experience, and we do a little research too. But mostly we just want to remind you that you're awesome. So today is a really sensitive topic, really. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about teenage girls, and I remember this firsthand, and how sensitive we are. So we're trying to navigate through their worlds, their school, friends, independence, emotions. There's so much. So we've been asked by quite a few people, young people, if this is something that, we were willing to talk about. So here we are. We've once again reached back in time to remember those feelings, and also have done research online. And we're going to share what we thought were, logical and helpful in understanding and relating to teenage girls. I said teenage boys for another time, but a lot of this, as we, went through it, kind of relates to both, right? So keep that in mind, please. And we cannot stress enough, again, that if you need medical support, please reach out to a medical professional. And don't hesitate, because you're not alone. There's a lot of people, no matter what you're feeling out there, there's a lot of people, right? The same things going on.
Oh my gosh, totally.
Mm-hmm.
And moms and even dads. Today our reference is mostly directed at moms, but we can also apply this to you dads.
Yeah.
So we hope that it helps. Let's start with an actual story we found online. Carrie Kampakis of Girl Mom.
So this is the type of online research we're telling you about. We find these different professionals and share information, but also the source. So you can find them yourself if you wish to go into, deeper discussion on different topics. But, so this was taken from the Girl Mom podcast. Some of it, some of it's ours.
Exactly. So in this case, your teenage daughter is standing in front of you, drops her head. She's not saying a word, right? If you ask a question, she'd mumble or just shrug. You could tell she wants something, but, you didn't know what.
You don't know what.
So as this mom is wondering what she wants, she does notice that her daughter was kind of leaning in a little bit, just a little bit, and waiting for her to respond. She realized then that what her daughter wanted was something she hadn't given her in a long time, a big mom hug.
Right, exactly. We sometimes miss, the subtle hints that our kids are giving us, and we misinterpret some gestures, thinking they're being cheeky or something, where they really just kind of want that hug, right? It could be just the world's a little overwhelming, and they just need the comfort of your hug. So from then on, she knew what she needed to do when her daughter planted her body in front of her like that. And I wonder I'm trying to think back if that was the same for my son. They kind of just hang around you and they're not really saying anything. I think it's more of a girl thing. I don't know.
That's a tough one, right? Because everybody's so busy in their own worlds too. And it's hard to even, maybe these things happened, but we just didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Which is really heartbreaking.
I know, but we're here now. And
exactly.
We're opening that window.
Yes, right? We're trying to help you guys.
Trying to open that window.
Kind of be aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, pay attention. This little one was standing in front of her mom, and, the mom figured out that, hey, she needed that hug. So she'd wrap her arms around her daughter and hold her as tightly as she could and hold on to her as long as her daughter let her.
Yeah, for sure. And hey, moms, dads, if you're not sure this is what your daughter, and I'm saying daughter as we go through, but it could be your son too. So just for the sake of time and not forgetting.
Your child.
Daughter, your child.
Your child.
Is looking for in that moment. You'll know when they relax in your arms, that's what they're looking for. In these moments, you're the safe place. That's the source of that comfort, right? When they feel tired or they're just overwhelmed or weary.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, poor little things.
Yeah.
Don't take it personally if they don't hug you back, right? So
how many times? I can't count how many times that's happened.
Oh, totally. And it's you might think it's odd that you're hugging them, but they don't hug you back. But nah, that's normal. The hidden truth is that they still crave your love and affection, but didn't want to ask or know how to ask, right?
Yeah.
It's weird times.
Or even know what they really needed. So it's easy to forget this, even as our children grow up, but they're still children.
Yeah.
So when they're small, we distribute hugs and kisses, all the time because they're so cuddly and cute. And isn't it nice when you remember when they used to run to us and their arms are out in the air, Mom, So it's making it hard to resist them as we sweep them up and kiss them all over their face. But as they get older, as they do, they want space and privacy, which we also wanted when we were teenagers. So they do, that's, that running up to you at the door when you come home and giving us, that rock star treatment like you're the best ever, that kind of dwindles off. And as hormones kick in, their cues get harder to read. Oh, this is so true. Oh, my God. So we aren't always sure when to draw closer or when to back off and give them space.
Yeah, that's right. This is why we love our teens unconditionally. Yeah. Whether or not they love us back at that moment, that's okay. Just show them that we are loving them, and affection doesn't always have to mean a big hug, right? You can just lean into them, read the room, see what's going to work at that moment, even just be with them. After all, that's the essence of unconditional love. No strings attached. And even if you're very affectionate, your child is her own person and may not have inherited this trait, and you get the eye rolls instead.
Yeah.
Focus on the fact that eye rolls are actually a sign that your daughter's beginning to judge and think for herself. It's annoying, granted, but...
You know what, Kim?
Yep.
That's a good point. Take it as a win. Instead of thinking, oh, that's rude or, whatever. To a certain point. I mean, they still have to be polite human beings, but I think when they start, establishing their own space and their own, like boundaries, that's a win for you. You've got them there.
Yeah.
We still have a long way to go, but...
It is developmentally appropriate. And she will eventually grow out of the eye rolls, or not. Like, we all still roll our eyes at times, right?
Yeah.
We did that too, moms. So showing love to a teenager without cramping their style isn't always easy. But according to Common Sense, written in an article by Carrie Kompakis, how about coming up with a personal show of affection? It doesn't have to be a hug, but something that they know it means that you've got this, you love each other, right? Like even a fist pump, a nose rub, or if you don't want to get that close, tap your heart twice, something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because not everybody's a hugger.
No.
Right.
And if you're dropping the kids off somewhere and they don't want to have a hug from their mom at that moment, a nice little, tap the heart twice.
Yeah.
And point at them.
Have your own little signal.
Exactly.
And they know that
yeah,
it's the same as a hug.
Yeah. They can still roll their eyes, but, you just told them that you love them. And
like sometimes they feel, you need to feel that body connection. You know what I mean? Like you're just enveloped in the arms and you just feel that safe place. I agree. I think what you said about just having that common communication, knowing that, maybe you do give a hug at home, and then when they're in front of their friends, that's their hug, fist bump.
Exactly. Right? Yeah.
Oh, I like that. So we did some research, and we came up with some simple ways that we'd like to share with you, just to kind of show them that you care. We do have a list from teenagers of what they feel. And maybe, with that understanding, maybe some of what we're talking about now, we can apply that and help them out, right?
Yeah. We were lucky enough to have them write in with their concerns that they'd like us to address.
Yes.
So we are
Which
going to.
was so cool.
I know.
That approach like that.
I know.
Made me feel really good.
Me too.
But I think the number one thing that came up over and over that could help with most of the things that were on the list, that combined list that we put together from the kids reaching out, was listen. So I'm going off topic a little bit, but they're going to be at different stages that we don't always understand. When are we going to let go? When are we going to stay involved? And we have to start listening and taking cues, because we all know there's no handbook to being a parent, or there probably is, but
there's lots.
I know, but every kid's different.
Exactly.
So applying some things, even our stuff, is not going to work for everybody. But listening always does work. And however, how you use that, I think is the most important thing. Kids know you're listening. So the older our kids get, I think the more important it is to listen, because when they're little, they're taking direction from us anyway. They don't care.
Yeah.
But as they start questioning or being ornery or, that's a sign that
They're starting to grow
they're
up
starting
and develop.
to be like individuals.
Yeah.
Right? So, so we have no idea what it's like to be a teenager today. And the only way to understand is by listening and asking like really good questions. I remember saying to my mom there was a time my mom and I had conflict. I had really decent parents too, different dynamic. But I remember, saying to her, you don't even know what it's like to be a teenager now, because you always compare it to your parents, when your parents were teenagers, right? And that's what that's all they have to go by. When you start listening to your kids and understanding what the differences are and what their challenges might be, that can be pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's all relative, right, to where you are. It's all important to you.
Yeah, well, to them, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So teenagers want to know that their thoughts and opinions matter. Sometimes we have to take off our parenting hat and let them talk freely, honestly, without fear, especially of getting into trouble.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And don't forget, listening is different from hearing. If your child is talking to you and you're on your cell phone looking down at your screen scrolling, you're not listening. Mm-mm. And you're not giving them your undivided attention, right? And they see that.
Exactly.
And you're not listening, and you could be missing a lot of really important things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know how I feel when I'm talking to somebody and they're scrolling on their phone. It's like, okay, so I'm not going to waste my time here because they're not interested in what I have to say.
Or hearing me.
We need some kind of time where you can have open discussions with your teenager, right? Somehow where you can be open and honest. They have no fear of talking to you, right? So maybe that's a car time. So you guys are going out for a drive. You're in your backyard sitting on a swing or whatever, or you can get into a heated debate. Let them build their guts. Let them talk to you about all their concerns, right? Hash things out. And during this time, they could say anything. But once the car ride was over, figuratively, wherever you are doing this, that means this space is finished, closed, and so is that discussion. It doesn't mean you're finished talking about it, just like being able to freely vent. Yeah.
The safe space.
Exactly, a safe space.
So whatever that space, I like that, Kim. Whatever space, works for your family.
Yeah.
Front room, go for a ride.
Yeah.
Sit in the backyard, whatever.
Yep. And don't make any final decisions or calls until you hear your teen out. Like, listen.
Yeah.
Seriously, listen. Stop talking.
I've had it. You're not going out for a month.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That's
hear them out.
Yeah, exactly. So stop talking and just listen. Just have this code of silence. Zip. Just listen to them. Mm-hmm. Teenagers have a lot to figure out. They need sounding boards and they need mentors. So when we listen well, they're more likely to come to us with bigger issues, questions, anything like that, any problems they're going to have down the road, which they will. Mm-hmm. So try not to act all judgy. And I know it's difficult, but if you shut them down and shut them out, then they're probably not going to come back to you with issues because they fear that you're just going to come down on them and reprimand them, and that's the end of that.
I kind of feel sorry for us right now. You know why?
Why?
Because we feel bad for the teenager, but I also feel bad for the parent.
Yeah. Because
everybody's trying to navigate through their different stages in life, right? The kind of cool thing about being for me, being in your 60s, I have, my son's still fairly young, but I have nieces and nephews that are older, one that I was pretty close with, and now she has a family. So you're kind of like on both sides. Like we're sitting here thinking of the teenager for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
But then as as we're going through the material, you're thinking, oh, the poor parent, like they're trying to navigate too.
Yeah.
As much as a parent has to listen to the child also has to listen to the parent, which is going to be harder for them.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Both ways, we can start also with treating with each other with dignity and respect. And especially parents, because you're the grown-up. Sorry, you're the grown-up.
Yeah.
You have to treat your teenager with dignity and respect.
And they'll learn from watching you and how you treat them.
Exactly. Good life lesson for them to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And when opening up to someone, they need to feel that you like them.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're mad at them before they even start talking, it's like, well, I've lost anyway. Like, what's the point?
Oh, yeah. What about body language?
Or I'm always in trouble, or,
Yeah, yeah,
So that goes for like teachers too.
yeah.
Keep that window open for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's especially true with teenagers who know when we speak to them, it's from a place of love as parents.
Yeah.
But we can't be always angry at them because then they don't feel like we like them.
Yeah.
They know we love them, but they feel there's a separate emotion there, right?
Yeah.
They know we love them,
Yeah.
and they feel like we have to love them, which we don't. We love them because we love them.
Yeah.
But sometimes they just feel like we don't like them.
Yeah.
So that's sad.
That's a tough one. And be aware of your body language too, right? When you're talking, and if you're standing there tapping your foot and you've got your arms crossed over your chest, that would make me feel really anxious if I was trying to share my problems and issues. And if somebody was looking at me like that, I'd just kind of feel like, okay, I'm already judged. So,
Yeah.
I
feel
give
anxious
up.
even grown up to grown up.
Yes.
With that, yeah.
So we feel you, moms and parents. This is why we're doing this, so we can come up with some hints to help. And think, Mom, for a second, right? You know all those dark circles and bags you got under your eyes, gray hairs that you've earned. So you can either wear these proudly, or you can get some cover up and dab that on under your eyes, and they will go away.
Yeah.
They will.
That's the feel-good episode.
Parents love to whine about the misery of raising teenagers, right? You want to vent with some other parents or pretty much anybody who will listen. And while some complaints do hold the truth, they don't build trust or goodwill, right? So if you heard your parents griping about you, how would you feel? Would you open up next time, or would you think whatever I say is going to be, shared?
Yeah, everybody's going to know my business, and I'm embarrassed anyway.
Exactly.
And,
yeah. So, I would not. You'd put up that wall and you'd save. No, you would not do that.
Yeah, build that trust.
Yeah.
And I think that's age old. I think that's a way of parents trying to figure it out too. Like they share things that have happened to them.
Yeah.
And, what did you guys do?
Right.
Or whatever.
Right.
Whereas a teenager, it's like, well, I'm not comfortable with everybody knowing my business.
Exactly.
And I totally get that.
Absolutely.
Now that we're doing this.
Yeah.
As I'm learning also, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
No. And if you do want advice, that's one thing. If you want to talk to other parents and say, hey, so have you ever been in this situation or whatever? And don't have it while the kids are listening to you either. Be careful with the whining and complaining about your kids to other parents. It's not cool. And I'd be really disappointed and hurt with my parents. So the golden rule applies to adolescents too, though, right? Since open criticism doesn't make anybody feel loved, it's safe to assume that a teenager feels the same.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the other thing too is like love their friends. Keep your distance. Don't get in their face all the time or whatever. But as our teenagers start to pull away from us, they're going to gravitate towards their friends, which we all did, and even other adult friends. Right? Oh, I can't talk to my mom about this. And they talk to another adult or something. Try not to be so hurt about that.
Be happy
right?
that they've got somebody.
Be happy that they have somebody. And the influence of their closest friends is going to magnify because they're going to share experience and information. So anyone important to my child is someone I want to know. And it's worth investing time and energy into building a relationship with them. And it's also kind of fun. Like you can take them to the I remember I used to drive my son and his friends all around, and I'd drop them off at a movie or whatever, So I wasn't always there. They knew who I was, and they knew that I liked them.
Yeah.
And I would kind of hang out once in a while if they wanted me to, or I'd keep away, whatever. So I think that's important, to know their friends and to like their friends.
Yeah. Let their friends know that they're welcome at your house, too, and they're not just an inconvenience or a pain, right?
Yeah.
So spending time together with your kids, right? That's huge. When it comes to engaging our teens, the options are endless, right? A good place to start is doing something that they love. Activities, like hiking, great places to talk, right? Until they don't want to be seen with you in public. But while you can, every family's different. There's no one size fits all, right? And whatever this thing is that we bond over with our teenager, that can go a long way in building memories and trust.
Exactly. What another thing, that expression, it takes a village?
Yes.
Right. So for those of you that that haven't heard that, it takes a village, meaning that, when your kids are outside, if somebody sees, that they're in danger, they they'll help them out, or they have other adults that are close to them that you trust. So in my case, my son has Kim.
Yeah.
You guys are texting all the time and, watching hockey games together. We have a lot of dinners together. So I'm so thankful for that. I really am.
Aww.
And, and I know he loves you so much.
Well, I love him too.
And it's been said that it takes, what did they say, 5 adults consistently present in a child's life to help raise a healthy child. So they're getting different points of view. So they have, he has yours.
Yeah.
He has ours. My sister-in-law, brother-in-law. Like, he has a lot of adult support. A friend of ours. So, yeah, I think that's really important, especially when you're going through the times where they feel that, you're always yelling at them or you're always, not supporting them, whatever.
Well, you have to lay down the law sometimes, right? And that's not always welcomed, right? They need those people who can listen to them unconditionally and support them without having to lay down the law.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's safe space.
Yes.
But as long as they're people that you trust.
Yeah. Also staying connected with your kids, right? Because as they're growing up, their world's expanding and separating them from their family and familiar territory. That can be really scary. So somehow they need a roadmap that will always take them home and back to the people who remind them of who they are. Like a personal compass that brings them back to safety and security. That's us. With teenagers, disconnect can begin when we try to give guidance without awareness of their thoughts and their desires and their feelings. So they just shut us down, shut us out. So try not to be judgy.
Yeah. So that old, in quotes, you don't understand me. You don't understand what it's like to be a teenager. And,
Yeah, they're right.
And they don't care. What we know, but by listening, they don't care really what we know. They're just trying to figure out their own world. Okay, so that's kind of important because, when we always say at every podcast, you're not alone.
Yeah.
When they're going through navigating through this stage of life, everyone feels like they're alone.
Yeah.
They feel like I'm the only one going through this. They look at themselves in the mirror and they might not like the reflect, Every single person, I don't care who it is, even if it's the most popular person in school, everybody goes through this stuff.
100% I agree.
You are not alone.
Yeah.
When we, by listening, empathizing, saying, oh, is that right? Putting ourselves in their shoes to understand what it's like to be them, we're engaging them.
Yeah.
Listening.
Yeah.
All back to listening.
Yeah.
But it's not only listening, it's offering not necessarily advice at that moment, but it's like, really, that happened?
Offering support.
My gosh. It's support.
Yeah.
You're listening and you're talking back to them.
Yeah.
They might even have the feeling of relief, right? Saying, yes, that is how I feel. And then, when it comes to that point, you can take it from there, like whatever the challenge is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Boy, listening and empathizing is huge.
Oh,
teenagers.
My gosh, yeah. And it's hard sometimes because if they're pushing your buttons and you're not really feeling in that listening mood, step back.
Yeah.
Take those deep breaths.
Exactly. Because they might not even know why they're pushing your buttons.
No.
It's not to push your buttons.
They're frustrated, upset, angry.
Yeah. And again, you're the safe space.
Yeah, that's right.
So if there's things that they want to say at school that they can't, chances are they'll say it to you because they know you're going to love them no matter what.
That's right. So
don't be hurt.
No, that's right. We know you're doing the best you can. Before we go, we wanted to read out some thoughts shared by teenage girls, but most, not all, can apply also to teenage boys. So just some food for thought for parents out there. All right, here goes. So even if we don't say it, we appreciate little surprises, like when you have our favorite food waiting at home for us after a hard day at school.
And don't criticize trivial things. We already criticize ourselves enough, so save your criticism for when it really matters and be as tactful as possible.
Yeah.
Try not to hurt my feelings when you have to tell me something that I might not want to hear.
Yeah.
Right?
You're wearing that, meanwhile you just spent an hour putting that outfit together.
I know.
Right? So, that's tough.
Or I don't like what you're wearing.
Right. Well, you don't
too much
have
focus
to.
on appearance.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Don't get mad at us. We are tired and trying, even if it looks like we're doing nothing. There's those bags under our eyes.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're doing either, right? We're learning. As we go along through trial and error, we make lots of errors. And we seriously, if we can remember to apologize when we do wrong, good on us.
Yeah.
Good on you, parents.
Yeah. So it kind of goes a little both ways there. So the other comment that a teenager made was, school sucks the life out of us. Please understand. I do understand.
Absolutely.
School sucked the life out of me.
Totally, me too.
And I totally get it.
And don't tell other moms about our issues. Yep, we hear you.
Yeah.
When you break our trust, we want to pull away and not share details about our lives.
And we want you to be involved in our lives, but not smother us. We need our alone time and space just to chill. And that's really important for them to be able to go into the room, especially when they're emotional, to just kind of calm themselves down or deflect onto something else.
Another one, we like for you to support and encourage us when we're passionate about a hobby or a creative outlet, right? Support us.
Yeah, support us.
Might not be your cup of tea, but it's ours.
Don't try to fix everything or lecture us. Just sit with us in our emotions and let us be sad.
Yeah, you can just sit there with them and be sad with them.
I know.
Just let them vent.
Yeah.
Or just be frustrated with them or angry with them and just make that cup of tea and the two of you just sit there.
That empathy.
And just, exactly.
Or if they want to go to their room,
Yeah.
just check in.
Yeah, bring that favorite snack or something and just... We like it when you randomly ask us if we need any clothes and want to go shopping, even online shopping.
Yeah.
We may not ask, but we're always game for shopping.
Hey, me too.
Oh, totally.
I'm your
That
girl.
doesn't change.
I'm your girl there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that never changes, even as a grandmother. Don't compare us to our friends or other people. Oh, that's a killer.
Yes.
It makes us feel like you don't appreciate our good qualities when you only point out the good things about our peers.
Brutal. When you catch us doing something you like, point it out and tell us. We don't know that you just thought what we did was really cool.
Yeah.
And this makes us feel appreciated, like you see our strengths and abilities. Even if we don't respond, we hear you.
We like it when you understand what we're going through and help Dad understand it from a female point of view.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We wish you gave us more credit for the good decisions we make, right? And recognize how difficult this is sometimes. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Our lives really are different than what you faced at our age.
Yeah.
So we can't relate, but we can try and understand.
We were not aware of electronics and social bullying, and, social media bullying. We weren't aware of that.
No.
But we did have bullies,
Oh, yeah.
right? And it was just as intense.
Yeah.
And it was just as hurtful at that time.
Yes.
Right. It's painful. And it's
100%.
horrible.
Yes.
And you need us to give you that hug or that fist bump or whatever you need.
Yeah.
And we're on your side.
Oh, we so are. We've got your backs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, if we're in a good mood, go with it and enjoy us. Oh, my God, would I ever.
Right?
We love to have fun, lighthearted conversations, and we need these moments with you because if every conversation turns into a life lesson,
That's exhausting.
we stop listening and we're just going to tune you out.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I
and
would.
that's exactly what they said, and that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
And when it comes to time, this is to my son, when it comes a time that you're more mature than me, I still want to just play a game.
Yeah. Oh, and mine's way past being more mature than me.
I know.
Yeah. Also,
Super
understand
brain.
that social media is part of our culture. So rather than ridiculing us for being on it, guide us on how to use it.
That's a very intelligent comment, young lady.
Thank you.
Whoever, well,
Try and be part of it so we can understand where it might be hurting them or upsetting them, because really we don't know and things change so fast.
don't take it personally if we vent or take out our anger on you. We mentioned this before. You're usually the person we feel we can safely unload on, right? So be patient, please, and don't give up on us as we learn how to handle our emotions. Don't give up on us. Somebody said that.
Oh,
We're not going to give up on you.
absolutely
ever.
not. No,
Ever.
no. And don't forget that our room is our private space, the only place in the house that is just ours, even if they share it with a sibling. They need to be alone to reflect and think. They need their alone time. That's so important. They like it when you knock before entering, right? That shows respect.
Yes.
And it gives them a heads up, makes them feel like they have control in their lives,
Mm-hmm.
even in just that one little spot where they might not feel they have control anywhere else in their lives.
Yeah. So another comment is, we want to tell you about our friend problems, but not if you'll take it the wrong way and try to control our social lives. So they're having a problem with a friend doesn't mean that they never want to see that friend again. They want to navigate through something, right?
Yeah.
We don't like it when you diss our friends. Think badly of them or tell us they're not good for us every time we have a problem. So exactly, I can kind of see that. You know, you want to protect your child, right? So they're telling you so-and-so is being a knob. And your first reaction is, well, don't hang out with that knob. But they're not always a knob. Like, how do you navigate through that, right? So that's all they're asking.
Yeah, just listen.
Yeah. Listen listen, and based on whatever it is, maybe offer advice. It doesn't always have to be not to see them again. Ask them, why are you talking this way? Or why, help them navigate through the situation.
Yeah, help them to understand the way they're feeling is normal in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's...
Yeah, and if you cut out everybody that's going to hurt your feelings, you're only going to have us left.
Yeah.
Because you can't hurt our feelings.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, they want a good relationship
that wasn't
with
an
you.
invitation to try.
No.
Because we do have comments on the podcast, right?
This is true, yes.
Yeah.
Unless you really feel the need.
Yeah.
Then go for it.
Yeah.
We'll help you.
We'll support each other.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So they want a good relationship with you. And they want you to show up for them without having to ask. So they like it when you plan special one-on-one time, having dinner at home together, even just a walk in the evening. Even if we don't act like it, we do want that.
Yeah, and I think that goes for boys too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we're not taking in what you say sometimes subconsciously. So give us uplifting and helpful messages, even if we don't respond. Sometimes it's not until later, when we're in an unfamiliar situation, that we remember what you once told us. So they're not always going to respond to your life lessons, but they might. This teenager is saying, we don't always respond and you think that we don't get it, but somewhere in our brain, we're holding on to it until we need it.
Right.
Right?
So, wow. What an episode.
Oh, gosh, eh?
Every family's different, right? And you guys are all learning what works best in your own environment. There's no just one size fits all.
Yeah.
We're learning through trial and error. Hey, and we're here for you. So we're communicating ideas and thoughts, hoping for a better understanding between you and your teens. Mm-hmm. And remember, your teen is their own person, and we can't or shouldn't try to make them into little mini us's. I don't know if
that's
us
a good point.
is a word.
No,
right?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
You said that perfectly.
So buckle up and have patience and understanding. Listen. We went through this too. It was a rocky ride. So deep breaths.
Mm-hmm. Going back to not everybody's perfect, don't be afraid to say sorry.
Yes.
If you make a mistake with your teen, say sorry.
Yeah.
And that'll mean the world to them.
Yeah.
Right? And you're not alone.
That's right.
Stop thinking you're alone because
Exactly.
you are not.
And you're not the only one going through this.
Exactly. Please don't be shy or embarrassed because believe me, there are many people in the same boat as you.
So on that note, we thank you all again for tuning in. And we hope you feel heard, supported, and empowered. And we know you're doing your best. So please send in your questions for Ask Moms, or if you have any ideas for future topics, please connect with us by emailing askmomstoday@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. And remember, you're not alone. So until next time, please take care of yourself.
You've got this.